Despite surviving a worldwide pandemic, a few cold wars, and countless global threats to humanity, why does the menacing aura that surrounds the word haunted leave us shell-shocked? I won't lie to you, I've had my fair share of sleepless nights after I see these words based on a real story after a screening of a horror film, but the thought of experiencing this in real life makes my chest quiver and my legs weak. So we're going to do the next best thing. Make a YouTube video on the top most haunted places on Earth. Welcome to Curious World, where we discover the weird and wonderful world that we live in. So, ladies and gentlemen, hold your loved ones close, because we're going to up the horror factor from 0 to 100 really soon. Get ready to be introduced to the paranormal world of headless corpses, forbidden cities, and secret underground networks of spooky ghosts. Here's the list of the top 9 most haunted places on Earth. Number 9. Jasirat Al Hamra, UAE. Close to Dubai, in the town of Ras Al Khaimah, lies a small abandoned place called Jasirat Al Hamra. It was reported to have been built in the 14th century by a few local tribes and is now home to creepy animal-morphing ghosts. The population of the town was rumored to have only been between 200 to 2,000 people, but in the 20th century, locals mysteriously abandoned the village. What was the reason for this sudden migration, you ask? Well, stories suggest that this popular location was haunted by creatures known as jinns. Jinns are believed to be intelligent spirits that have the capabilities to appear in human and animal form. Locals have also stated that it feels like you're being watched and that you're not alone. While the area may sound like a death sentence for some, others have different ideas. Hollywood director Michael Bay has used Jasirat Al Hamra for filming parts for his critically bashed film 6 Underground. This news alone would have probably discouraged people from visiting the site more so than the rumors of the ghosts themselves. Number 8. Château de Brissac, France. The Château de Brissac is the tallest castle in France, boasting over 200 rooms, a private opera house, and don't forget the ghost of the woman in the green dress. The castle was built in the 12th century, and when King Louis XVII visited in the 15th century, he made it his permanent crib. His half-sister, Charlotte, settled in the castle with her husband, Jacques de Breze, but things started to go a little pear-shaped from then on. In 1477, Jacques caught his wife having an affair, and instead of deciding to talk it out like any normal couple would, he chose the second best option. I think you know where this is headed. Within the thick, fortified walls of the secluded castle, stricken by hatred and jealousy, Jacques butchered his beloved and, well, her beloved, simultaneously. But it came as a bittersweet ending for Jacques, who had to face the piercing screams and the moaning of the two lovers' spirits every night following. Since then, he relinquished the castle, but Lady Charlotte has yet to have deserted the Château de Brissac and given the title of La Dame Verte, or the Green Lady. This has to do with many paranormal sightings that have been reported of her wearing a stunning emerald green gown. She floats around the tower room at night with gaping holes where her eyes and nose should be. This place is now used as a vineyard occasionally, which makes sense because I doubt I'd want to be sober if I saw a creepy ghost with half a face. Number 7. The Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa. The beauty lies in the name itself. In 1912, a couple who went by the names of Josiah and Sarah Moore were brutally axed to death in their house in Iowa. You'd think that most people who heard about this place wouldn't want to get too close, right? Well, the answer is apparently a loud no for hundreds of people who pay over $400 a night to enjoy a staycation in Casa de Bloodbath. But the regret is pretty much instant. Many such daredevils who hoped to enjoy a night out in the Villisca house ran away in the middle of the night. The house is haunted by the overbearing squeals of children, the flickering of lights, and even random inanimate objects flying across the rooms. In fact, a paranormal investigator was reported to have stabbed himself after spending a night in the murder house. And in case you haven't realized by now, paying money to surround yourself with silhouettes of a dead family isn't exactly a bargain. If you thought these places were spooky, you're going to want to stick around until the very end of the video. Number 6. Bangarh Fort, India. Back in the 17th century, a dazzling fortress blooming with royal palaces and pristine temples housed King Chhatra Singh and his family. But fast forward 300 years and all that is left is a forsaken and deserted land, a shell of its former self. And what happened here? You can thank a priest named Singhiya. an interesting fellow who used to dabble in black magic. The priest fell madly in love with the king's daughter, but unlike most Bollywood rom-coms, he couldn't quite get the girl at the end of the chase. Legend states that he made a special potion out of oil to trick the daughter, Ratnavati, into marrying him. This is the perfect example of what goes around, comes around. And when she caught wind of his bluff, Ratnavati decided to cast some witchcraft of her own. The spell-working daughter turned the liquid potion into an enormous boulder, which crushed the priest. So, not the happy ending we were hoping for, but his last words brought havoc to the fortress of Bangar, as he cursed Ratnavi and the entire kingdom. Soon enough, the fort was whitewashed in a battle which killed off everyone including the king and his daughter. In present day, local villagers claim that upon trying to rebuild sections of the fortress, such as the roof, it magically disappears overnight. This has to do with the curse of the priest who promised eternal destruction over the fort of Bangar. Either that, or the workers are just fabricating spells to enjoy a day off. If you're enjoying our video of the top 10 most haunted places in the world, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button, and click the bell icon to never miss an upload from us at Curious World. Number 5. RMS Queen Mary, California. As it sailed for the first time in 1934, the RMS Queen Mary was used as a luxury ocean liner and a temporary warship during World War II. But after nearly 3 decades, it was converted into a hotel, which is still very active to this day. The floating boatel is infamous for being a hub to many visiting entities. After experiencing several mishaps across its many years of service cruising European waters, countless shadowy figures roam freely around the RMS Queen Mary. At the swimming area are the early ghosts of toddlers who drowned whilst aboard its decks. A middle-aged man can be seen lurking the engine room who was reportedly crushed to death by a doorway. And if that wasn't enough, at least one murder has reportedly taken place on board the vessel. So it's safe to say that the RMS Mary isn't the safest place for your loved ones to pay a visit. If anything, only the Titanic boasts a higher mortality rate than this slaughterhouse. Number 4. Alcatraz, California. Surrounded by freezing waters on all sides and the previous home of some of the most notorious criminals in history, it isn't a surprise that Alcatraz is a home to otherworldly creatures. From Al Capone to Arthur Doc Barker, this prison has seen the best of the worst and is the resting place of some truly horrible human beings. With a place that has reported on an innumerable amount of stabbings, killings, and suicides, it isn't a shocker that countless lingering souls riddle the now empty cells. Paranormal activities are rife across the confinements of this prison, and Block D is the home to most. In the 1930s, one inmate reported seeing piercing red eyes stare down into his soul before he yelled in horror for most of the night. His limp, cold body was found the next morning, strangled to death despite living in solitude. Reports of loud banging on cell doors, ringing loud chains, and moaning at peak night hours have made this place a breeding ground for horrifying stories. Now we're at the final section of the video. From spooky silhouettes roaming forbidden fortresses to underground cities of the dead, here are the top 3 haunted places in the world. Number 3. Forbidden City, Beijing. The Forbidden City in China is one of the most popular tourist attractions in the country. It used to be the Imperial Palace for over 600 years, and now exists as a museum. But as Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders once said, "There's a woman." In this case, a shadowy figure lurks the corridors of the Forbidden City in a pale, white dress, the cloth hanging off her limp, cold figure. The story of the White Woman originates from a time when the Forbidden City was still the Imperial Palace. Back then, thousands of jealous concubines had been slaughtered by each other or at the hands of the Emperor. One of these martyred concubines is believed to be our haunting Woman in White. Many visitors and workers have claimed to have glimpsed the same woman moaning and sobbing near the boundary of the Forbidden City. Many other ghosts of concubines are rumored to exist in the location, but the Woman in White takes center stage. I guess there's something about a ghost of a woman in a bright white dress that strikes fear and trepidation into our brains. Number 2. The Tower of London, England. Throughout its nearly 1,000 years of existence, the Tower of London has borne witness to some seriously gory and gut-wrenching moments. Literally. The ghosts of hundreds of victims who were executed on site now reside within the boundaries of the tower. One such case is that of King Edward IV's 2 sons, who were captured not long after his passing in 1483. The bodies of the young men weren't found until nearly 200 years after, but their undead souls roam freely around the fortress. The ghastly and cadaverous projections of 2 young men is enough to make a grown one tremble. But the two brothers are just a fraction of what makes this place haunted. Visitors have been gobsmacked after witnessing shadowy figures of a headless woman float by. The sheer thought of seeing something as daunting as a headless ghost is enough to make your muscles freeze, your heart pound, and terror wash over you. The headless woman is believed to have been the former wife of Henry VII, who was executed along with Henry's other second wife. Number 1. The Catacombs in France. I bet all you 90s kids remember the maze game you used to play as a child. The one your older sibling tricked you into playing? You know, the one it always ended with a crazy zombie witch jump scaring the bejesus out of you. Well, imagine that, but in real life. The hundreds of thousands of deaths which took place during the French Revolution meant that the city needed a place to store bodies. The graveyards were becoming overpopulated, and the solution was needed. To deal with this, the city decided to store millions of bodies in an underground network of tunnels located right below the streets of Paris. This place is known as the Catacombs and holds the remains of over 7 million bodies. Now, with that many souls lying beneath the earth, you can easily expect a couple of ghost stories. One such story originated from a man named Philibert Aspert, who was lost in the catacombs after trying to make his way to an underground restaurant not far from his area. His body wasn't found until 11 years later, but his astral form is spotted to this day every year on November the 3rd, exactly the same day that he went missing. Another story really does give us an idea of the kind of mental trauma that people face after being lost in the dark tunnels of the catacombs. After a group of researchers found an abandoned camera in the tunnels, the video footage showed tapes of a man slowly losing his mind after getting lost amongst the twisted caverns and rotting flesh. On camera, he stated that he was seeing weird projections and hearing voices of unidentifiable creatures. His remains were never found. Which place would you definitely not want to visit in your lifetime? Which is the best place to base a haunted Halloween house on? Let us know your comments below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel to never miss an upload from Curious World.